I don't often preach from the Psalms, but in an unusual stroke this morning, we are going to be hearing from Psalm 27, verse 1 and verses 4 through 9. This was the psalm that was assigned the Sunday church got canceled. But I loved it and I wanted to preach from it, and so we're doing it. Psalm 27, verse 1 and verses 4 through 9. Listen to what the Spirit might speak into your life in this lovely poem of the ancient Hebrew people. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of what shall I be afraid? One thing I asked of the Lord, that will I seek after, to live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, and to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in God's temple. For God will hide me in God's shelter in the day of trouble. God will conceal me under the cover of God's tent. God will set me high on a rock. Now my head is lifted up above my enemies all around me, and I will offer in God's tent sacrifices with shouts of joy. I will sing and make melody to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry aloud, be gracious to me and answer me. Come, my heart says, seek God's face. Your face, O Lord, do I seek. Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn away your servant in anger. You have been my help. Do not cast me off. Do not forsake me, O God of my salvation. And may God bless to our understanding this reading from God's holy word, and to God's name be glory and praise. And how do we let our light shine in these times, when it is so necessary that we let our lights shine? I think one way that we see in the psalm, at least, is to seek and to find and to enjoy and to share beauty. One thing have I asked of the Lord, the psalmist says. One thing, and that will I seek. And then the psalmist proceeds to give us not one but three things. To live in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in God's temple. By my count, that is three things, but I only want to talk about one of them today. To behold the beauty of the Lord. These are days of rank ugliness, ugly behaviors, ugly words, ugly realities. But our faith calls us to see and to create beauty, things of beauty, acts of beauty. Let's be about the business of seeking and sharing beauty. Can you think of a more joyful calling amid the brutality and fear of our times than to see and to make and to share beauty? I mean, there's so many different kinds of beauty. There's the beauty of the eye. There's the beauty of the ear. There's the beauty of the tongue. There's tactile beauty. There's moral beauty. Lovely pictures, poetic words, comforting fragrances maybe, olfactory beauty, inspiring spaces, a building or a natural vista where light and distance evoke a sense of wonder, beauty of any and all kinds is a very glimpse into the life of God. Jonathan Edwards, I've said it before, Jonathan Edwards, that dour old Puritan, believed that creation was not out of nothing. It was actually the necessary overflow of God's beauty into the created order. And so today, let us turn for a while away from all that is awful to gaze upon God's beauty, to seek it, to rest in it, to shelter in it, and then to show it to others. Let it heal our individual souls, to be sure, but more than that, let it heal our collective soul as a society. Let's talk about beauty and our need for it, not as a mere luxury, but as a real necessity for our mental and spiritual health. Viktor Frankl was a survivor of the death camp at Auschwitz. And he talks about how even amid the hunger and the toil and the fear and the hopelessness of that awful place, people held fast to whatever little shred of beauty they could, and they craved it. One evening there was a particularly lovely sunset that brought all of the inmates out of their barracks at Auschwitz to gaze at the red and the orange in the fading sky, and to look on it with wonder and delight. And for just a fleeting moment, despite the horror of that place and the hatred and the death all around them, the fading beauty of the skies gave them a real bond to each other and a bit of comfort, and maybe even a bond to whatever else was out there. It united them to the eternity to which we all belong. Our souls need beauty daily. And that is surely part of the dehumanizing effect of all prisons. There's no beauty in them. Part of your punishment is you don't get any beauty. You're limited to sterile, ugly spaces. Years ago, I read about a woman whose teenage daughter was struggling with depression. The kid was taking medication as she should, and she was seeing a therapist as she should, but it was still a struggle. And the woman, the mother, she was just an English teacher. She was not a mental health professional. But she decided to do what she, as an English teacher, knew how to do. Every morning, she printed out a poem that she found online, or that she wrote herself, or that she found in a book, and she stuck it in her daughter's shoe while her daughter was still sleeping, so that every day her daughter would wake up to a new poem about hope or healing or life's little joys. And after the depression came under control, as it usually does eventually, her daughter said, I needed all the help I could get, but nothing helped more than those daily poems. Why? Because they reminded her of beauty. They gave her eyes to see it. How is it that you, a good suburbanite that you are, you can deal with bad news and calamity all calmly, and you do most of the time, and you must, but play the right piece of music and it can move you to secret tears? How is that? What is that? How about a painting or a sculpture or a view out over the green and blue world? Think of how that can fill you with a bittersweet sense of ecstasy that no words could ever begin to tell. Ocean waves crashing call you back to a part of yourself that you sometimes forget is even there. The sight of the waves, the sound of them, the salty smell, the flute-like song of a wood thrush in the evening, in the gathering gloom of nightfall, always speaks to me of a longing in my life, an old desire going many years back to go and live in the woods like Robin Hood, and to speak Elizabethan English all the time. Beauty connects us. Beauty connects us to something bigger than ourselves. It locates us in the moment at hand, yes, but it reminds us that there's something more that we are taking part in. It makes us mindful of mystery and possibility and wonder. We need beauty, just like water. Our sacred texts, they're often talking about who God is and what God is, and they often describe to us the character of God, this mystery that we have named God. And in many places in the Hebrew scriptures, it speaks about the steadfast love of the Lord or the loving kindness of the Lord. There's frequent mention of the mercy of the Lord, and one of my favorites, the joy of the Lord, which shall be your strength. The peace of God, which passes understanding. That's kind of less frequent, but it makes some meaningful cameos here and there. God's power, God's guidance, God's love, God's grace, God's light. These are all described to us in sacred scripture, but have you ever noticed the frequent mention of God's beauty? All beauty is God's beauty. Now, I had to do an AI search on this, so I'm not sure if it's accurate. But if AI is right, then the beauty of the Lord or related concepts occur perhaps as many as 400 times throughout the Bible. You think about it, all those prophetic books that we never read. I didn't go through and count. And it's usually all mixed up with language about God's glory and God's splendor and God's mercy and God's grace and God's holiness. And why is the beauty of the Lord important for you and me today, in these times? Because most of us are feeling more than a little bit beat up right now. Ugliness and selfishness and egotism and greed and violence are regaling us from the top down in a way that we have never experienced before. And it is a scary time just to be a decent human being. We are not quite ourselves in these days, and we need help. But good news. There are a few over-the-counter spiritual medications, easily accessed without a prescription. Almost anyone has access to them. And they're very efficacious. They work quite well. What are a few of them? Can you think of a few? How about laughter? Oh, that doeth good like a medicine, doesn't it? Music, friendship, prayer, silence, community, sacraments, public worship, beauty, the beauty of the Lord. These things are within the reach of most of us. They're free. All we have to do is look for them and find them and use them and share them. And that is not an exhaustive list. There are others. Now, of course, everything has its shadow side, right? And beauty has a shadow side. It's used to judge people. It's used to rank people. You know, people used to believe in truth, beauty, and beauty, truth. People actually used to believe that if you had a beautiful face, you probably had a beautiful soul. That beauty came from the inside and emanated outward, so that attractive people were honest people. That idea might still haunt us today. It is called beauty bias or pretty privilege. When we unwittingly treat an attractive person better than we treat a plain-looking person or an unattractive person. And it does happen. But even that is evidence of our deep human desire for beauty. In fact, when I was looking for a nice quote to put at the top of the worship bulletin for today, a quote about beauty, about half the quotes I came up with were about feminine beauty. And I didn't want to go that route, because all too often that is used to beat women up, isn't it? It's used to judge them and to rank them, evaluate them. And if you don't think that you are being judged by your appearances, no matter who you are, then just try doing what I've been doing for the past few weeks. I've been driving my daughter's car since the clutch finally went out in my Kia, my soul. I've been driving a beat-up 24-year-old Honda Accord with a badly faded and oxidized paint job. Now, those old Hondas will run forever. It might be the best car we've ever owned. But they lose their looks about 15 years in. And no joke, when I drive that car, I have noticed that other drivers treat me differently. When you drive a really ugly car, either they're scared of you or else they treat you with contempt. Like taking your turn at four-way stops, pulling out in front of you. I would not have believed it was possible until I started driving that car. But can you blame us for craving beauty? A beautiful scene, a beautiful sky, a beautiful space, a beautiful face. We are mysteriously drawn to these things, for there's just so much that isn't right in our world, that we want that little touch of eternity, of humanity, of divinity. There's so much in our world that is ugly to the eye and to the soul. I mean, truly, if beauty is in the eye of the beholder, what worldview do most of us carry through life in these times? Materialism, which is not just greed or the desire to acquire things. It is that, though. It's more than that. It's a philosophy of life. It says the only thing that matters is matter. Matter. And that matter is all there is. And we must grab what we can get while we can get it, for there is no purpose and there is no meaning. It's all an accident. We're just random accidents of chemistry, globs of matter, slipping around and bumping into each other, with the additional accident of consciousness. Explain this to me. I don't know how it works. And soon we will die. The world is just an inert ball of rock and dirt to be used for personal gain, a thing to be consumed and discarded because it doesn't matter. It's just matter. Take what you can get because it's all over soon enough. And if you go through the world with that kind of worldview, and I think we're all kind of indoctrinated into it, is it any wonder we're sad? Is it any wonder we're anxious? Is it any wonder we're lonely? Is it any wonder we're socially awkward and isolated? Is it any wonder we doom scroll on social media and on our phones? Modern life starves us of beauty and of meaning. Sometimes, I'll admit this to you, I will go out of my way just to drive across the 16th Street Bridge. That bridge goes no place that I want to go. Not that it goes to bad places, I just don't even go to the places where it goes. But why do I do it? Because it's so beautiful. It is the most beautiful bridge in our city, and it's tucked away in this neighborhood where people don't even go anymore. It's beautiful with its great seahorses rising out of motionless waves, and its enormous yellow globes, and its ornate masonry, and its yellows and greens and browns. It's a grand bridge built in 1922, I looked it up, back when society still believed that beauty, public beauty, mattered, that it was worth spending money on, that everyone should have access to beauty in bridges, in parks, in buildings. You know, Pennsylvania used to always put its little keystone on everything. Just kind of a nod in the direction of ornamentation, trying to make things pretty. In these times, we can't even maintain the structural integrity of a bridge, much less make one beautiful, pleasing to the eye. We have lost something in our rush for material things. We have lost something vital. But oh, behold the beauty of the Lord. And so what of it? Only this: beauty is good for you. Beauty can help to heal your spirit. A beautiful tree, a beautiful song, a beautiful word. In these anxious times, in these times when we are made to feel powerless and always under attack, we must hold fast to the things that heal us and keep us healthy, like beauty. What beauty most delights you? You need to get more of it in your life. I don't care what it is. If it doesn't hurt anybody, it's a holy thing. Seek it. Find it. Live with it daily. Rest your soul in the beauty of the world, for it recalls to us a higher truth to which we all belong and which we too often forget. Laughter, community, friendship, silence, prayer, beauty. These all recall to us the good eternity which surrounds us all in life and claims us all in death. All our best impulses surely come from there. And after the fever dream of these days is over, we rest safe in its embrace. And secondly, after you have sought and enjoyed beauty to heal your own soul, share it. This is a serious question for you to take home this week. How can you add beauty to the life of the world? In what way can you add beauty to your neighbors' lives? How can you make this world more beautiful? Music, art, cooking, crochet, poetry, essays, letters to the editor, photography, interior design, ideas, the beauty of the mind, math, order, cleanliness. These are all holy callings, for these are all gifts of beauty that you can give. I don't care which one you possess, just give it. Seeking and enjoying and sharing beauty. This is a simple form of resistance that we can practice today and every day. Live for something other than matter and material gain. And that is just one way that we can let our light shine as a congregation and as decent human beings in troubled times. That is the beauty of the Lord. It is our calling today. It is our joy. Let's live into it. Amen.